listening to the Sportz Nuts.
Welcome to the Sportz Nuts. This is episode 116, but guys, this is episode number 1 of the training days with the Sportz Nuts. Gosh, man, I'm so excited. I am pumped. I am thrilled. We have some outstanding guests who are going to come on and they're going to talk about, of course, we're going to have the AFC South. We have a gentleman who's going to cover the entire AFC South. We have a gentleman who is covering your Cincinnati Bengals. We have a gentleman who is also covering your Cleveland Browns. A lot to cover and so short time to do it, but we cannot wait to get it going with you guys. My man's sitting right next to me. Shane Owen, how are you doing, brother?
Man, doing good, man. I'm ready to get this going for sure. I can't tell you the amount of appreciation I have for everybody out there that has given us this opportunity to be able to bring you more content that we hope you guys like. So, in that sense, let's get down to the nitty gritty and let's do this thing.
That's right. Let's do the damn thing. Oops, excuse me. Do the thing. I've got to edit that out there. I apologize, Matt. Hey, guys, just a reminder, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are also on YouTube, Twitch. And, guys, we air on our lovely radio station affiliate, Tiger Nation Live, which is 95.5 KFCE based in Terrell, Texas. Shout out to everybody in Texas. We hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Obviously, you're going to spend a good hour with us before the NBA draft comes on. So without further ado, our first guest, this gentleman is going to cover the Cleveland Browns. His name is Seth Cranbrook. Seth, brother, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Yeah, it's funny that I'm covering Cleveland Browns because I actually was going to Florida, and my layover was in Cleveland. So,
hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice airport.
Hey, man, we really do appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you, getting the chance to really dive into what is going on in Cleveland Brown world. Obviously, we've seen a lot of transition take place this offseason. We've seen a lot of, movements with regards to the draft and that kind of stuff. Kind of just let us know more about. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask the question. Shane will ask the question. I'll ask another one. Then Shane will finish up with you. But so kind of give us the ups and downs from what you have seen this offseason so far with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, well, I would say with the ups right now, you got Myles Garrett, the big contract there. I'm seeing a lot of good defensive additions that you're getting. You also have a very solid coaching group, very consistent over the years. And the new $2.4 billion dome project at Brewer Park is pretty up. I'd say the downs are really just last year, 3-14. Nick Chubb is also still recovering, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get a run game going. I'm seeing the offense as the weakness of this team. There's also the weak wide receiver core I'm seeing. I'm thinking that they're going to have to do some trades or find some young talent to step up their game to really get things in motion.
And it's true. Excuse me. It's true. We've seen so much centralized around the Cleveland Browns. Obviously the talk of the entire NFL. Well, don't mind the thunder. There is a bad storm here. Is Shedeur, the whole situation with Shedeur Sanders, and you're right. There's too many unseen questions. Shane, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as Brandon brings up Shedeur Sanders, we know that Cleveland's quarterback room is completely crowded right now, and this has gained a lot of offseason attention for it. What are your thoughts of the Cleveland Browns kind of speeding into this season? Yes, pun is intended on that one, especially with the quarterback room. But like you said, the offense is not going to be key. What have you seen from the OTAs and kind of what you're looking forward to in the training days kind of segment to kind of maybe bring that offense to fruition?
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing. I've heard reports that Pickett might be cut. I'm not sure we're going to see him any longer. You do have a veteran position with Flacco. I would say that Gabriel might have a bit of an edge on Sanders. That's yet to be decided, but I would say that Flacco, with the veteran position he has, it could be a New York Jets situation, kind of like Rodgers, where he might get the position at first, and he might transition near the end of the year. You might see Dylan Gabriel out there at late in the season.
Yeah, well, even with that noise with Dylan Gabriel, but didn't he kind of under exceed everybody's expectations? And Shador even his off the field antics kind of exceeded everybody's expectations on the field during OTAs.
Yeah, you did a little bit. I'm not sure when I look at an early OTA, I'm thinking that maybe it might be a sign that they're getting everything going. But as you see, I believe that Dylan Gabriel will come in consistently. I see him as more of an NFL caliber quarterback. The OTAs might not show that yet, but yet to be decided. But I would definitely say that Flacco has potential similar to Rodgers to get that opening starting position.
Oh yeah, no, there's no
Yeah.
doubt that Flacco's going to get it. But I was just trying to key in on that Shador Gabriel situation that they got going on there, from what, third round to fifth round.
Yeah.
We mentioned this too, like, who realistically has like the upper hand, to so to speak, between Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. I've always been I'm a University of Hawaii guy, big Rainbow Warrior fan, Rainbow everything, right? Big fan of them, right? So, Dylan Gabriel comes from the state of Hawaii, St. Louis high school, by the way, just shouting out that school. He's a great quarterback, great everything about him. But, and you sat there and you did say he is more of the NFL ready. I kind of, I concur on that, actually. I think that Dylan Gabriel is more of an NFL quarterback, more for the future round. Like, so Shador may have his glimpses of greatness right now, but when it comes to the end, it's going to be, I think, honestly, it will be more touted toward Dylan Gabriel. So next question I have for you is, can you kind of give us your expectations of how this season is possibly going to line up for the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, well, you're in a tough division there. You got the Ravens, you got the Bengals, you got the Steelers. That whole division is pretty crowded, so I'm not seeing very many wins within their own division, but I could see a possible prediction of maybe 7-10. Better than last year, for sure, but I don't know if I would see them as a playoff team yet. That's a yet. I think part of it has to do with the cap on their contract, especially with Deshaun Watson he really flopped last year, and that hurts them. But also Myles Garrett, he also had a big contract. So it really sets their budget back, especially since they're also doing a stadium project. So
absolutely. And you nailed right there what we were asking for the prediction wise. So you're going with 7-10. I like that number. For those who are Cleveland Brown fans, we want to hear you on the stream. Chime in. Let us know what you think the prediction levels will be for your Cleveland Browns. Seth, man, we really do appreciate you coming on, brother. Please, I would say be safe in the weather. However, you're not where I'm, where it's storming like cats and dogs out here and everything. But, man, we really do appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to talking with you again soon. Sound good, brother?
sounds good. Thank you.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Take care. Guys, it was a really good interview with that one. We actually have another rival. He just came out and he did say the Cleveland Browns are in the same division. Let's talk
as what's that? Who Day?
Oh yeah, the Who Days. That's right. And he's literally sitting there shaking his head right now. If the Who Days say they're gonna beat them Bengals, or kind of just steal the idea from the Saints, but we'll go from there. But ladies and gentlemen,
you said the word.
I did say the word,
You
yes.
say the word.
I did. Guys, again, if you are watching us right now on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, TikTok, wherever, let us know your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns predictions for the season. We want to hear it from you. And don't forget to give us a follow and also subscribe. Everything, we have all the great content for you. Our good friend Charles Satterfield he is going to actually cover with us the Cincinnati Bengals. Charles, what is going on, my brother? How are you doing, sir?
Good. How you guys?
Good, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It means an absolute so I can't change the background on that one. It means a lot to us. We really do appreciate it, man. So, the same kind of question goes for you, obviously. We want to know your thoughts, your ups, downs, pros, cons, whatever's, expectations, and also the predictions of your Cincinnati Bengals. And look, obviously the name the Bengals have been touted with for such a long time was the Bungles, because they can't really get anywhere yet. And, Chris Berman used to say that so well with the Bungles, the whoop, the great whoop, but everything. But so, obviously, Charles, we want to kind of give an idea. Tell us what you have seen as far as the ups and downs have been so far for the Bengals.
Well, obviously we know about that offense, right? We saw last year, we saw like 30 points every game. We pretty much getting put up. So the fact that they returned, the two main receivers and their quarterback, obviously is a very good sign. I'm hoping that we can kind of again put those offensive numbers up, have Burrow in like that MVP conversation. The negative is how bad that defense was. As good as the offense was, the defense was just equally bad. So, it is bad. It's kind of like we're the flip opposite of Cleveland in a way, because they have a pretty good defense. We have a good offense. They have a bad offense. We have a bad defense. So so it's kind of we're kind of like mirroring each other sort of here in Ohio, I guess.
You kind of want to see who's the worst in Ohio. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah. It's the best and the worst. Okay, it just depends. There, and then there's that uncertainty on the defensive side, because we have our first round pick who has not yet. He's, I think, the only first round pick to not have signed his deal.
There's a big controversy between the Henderson deal.
And then we got Hendrickson.
He's not showing up, although he should show up. And then your rookie, who shouldn't show up, actually showed up, kind of deal.
Yeah, and honestly, if we do not get the Hendrickson thing taken care of, in a very short period of time here, as bad as our defense looked last year, I think it would look worse. Because you also think a few days ago we also got rid of Jermaine Pratt. We cut him from the team. Another guy that has been a pretty good guy on our defensive side of the ball for us. So I mean, he got that pick to give us our first playoff win in over 30 years. The first playoff win in my lifetime, I got to see because Jermaine Pratt picked the ball off. Right. So so there is that, right? Like he's definitely a loss, that he was cut. However, I think, we do have a lot of young guys, which again, as Seth was saying about the Browns, that can be a very good thing, right? You don't know what you have exactly. These guys can be developed. I think that Al Golden will be a very good guy to be developing these new defensive rookies and these young defensive players. I'm also an Ohio State fan, so I did get to see how he coached on defense as
Look
well.
at Shane shaking his head.
I'm sorry.
So, so I will say that, I got to, I kind of get to see some of his defensive stuff. And
well, you got to see it outside the Miami head coaching job.
Yeah, but I saw his how he got Notre Dame to where he got them this
Yeah. Oh
past year,
yeah.
right? So
Oh yeah.
that to me shows, okay, this guy is a good defensive coach. I mean, when we had Marvin Lewis as the head coach in Cincinnati, he also was very good, at making good defensive teams. So, um, on that, so really it's going to be, how does the defense do? How does Al Golden do at developing our defensive players? Can we get these two major defensive deals done? If we can get those two done, and then Al Golden can do, you know, an adequate job, get us to be an average defense, and that offense performs like it did last year, there's no doubt we're a playoff team. If anything goes wrong on that defensive side, um, we're probably looking at another, 9-8 season, a third 9-8 season in a row. I think we could go get 11, 12 wins if we have even an average defense, just because of how good that offense is. I mean, Burrow even said that, man, I could have made better plays. I mean, that's a leader. That's a quarterback you want on your team. The guy that goes, I should have put up more points on the board. He puts up 30 points and he's like, yeah, I'm not satisfied with that. I could have done more.
That just sounds typical. So, real quick, what is your overall prediction going to be for this team? Obviously, you kind of laid a little bit into it, but let's just for bleeps and giggles, let's just say everything comes into fruition, everything falls into place correctly, and then also the possibility it doesn't. But what is your overall prediction going to be for the 2025-26 season for your Cincinnati Bengals?
So we get, like I said, we get Trey signed. We get, I think his name is Shamar Stewart. We get his deal done. They start practicing. They go out and they have a good season. The defense plays, at least halfway decent. I think we can win 11, 12 games. I think that's a very reasonable, given, this team is basically the same on offense. So there's no reason we can't go out and do the same thing on offense, maybe even better, because I think Chase Brown is a better running back than Zach Moss. So I do think we could be better running the ball as well. So I think 12 wins can be like a ceiling. I think we could get 8, 9 wins if the defense just does not come together. I think we're going to be about a 500 team without that defense being good, just from the sheer force of Joe Burrow putting up massive numbers of points with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase catching the ball from him. So I just think that we're a 500 team without a good defense, and with a good defense, like,
A 12-win ceiling.
11, yeah, like 11, 12 wins. Yeah.
Shane, go ahead.
Oh man, well such a surprise to hear, especially coming from a Bengals fan. I believe Bengals are the kind of number 2 in that division right now, above the Steelers. But what I really want to get your aspect on is we've heard a lot of rumblings. Is Joe Burrow really going to be in the MVP conversation this year? And then after that, we're going to let you go because we got a little bit to get to. But man, it's great hearing from you, and we definitely want to hear about that MVP with Joe Burrow that we've been hearing around the league already.
Oh, I absolutely think if we do make the playoffs and, Burrow repeats his performance from last season, absolutely. I think he's absolutely should be in the MVP conversation. I mean, if we had made the playoffs last year at 9-8, he probably would have been in the MVP conversation anyway. Now, it's debatable whether he would have won over, Josh Allen or Lamar, but he should have at least been in that conversation, I believe. So I do think that if we have a playoff team, Joe Burrow will be in the MVP conversation next year.
I like that, and I it's going to be a fun season regardless. Look, first off, just to let you guys know, football is literally knocking on that door, and it's only just a matter of time. And when it gets here, you best believe everybody's going to be through the roof because just something about football just makes it better. Charles, my brother, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on to the Sportz Nutz, talking about some training camp news with the Cincinnati Bengals. We wish you guys a fantastic season. You and me, Charles, we're still going to talk, man. I wish you the best, brother. Sound good, man?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Guys, what a fantastic discussion we just had with regards to your Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be an outstanding season regardless for all of the football teams. Look, everybody, I guarantee you, everybody's watching right now, you're starting to get that little bitty itch like, oh my gosh, football's almost here. Can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. This next guest that we have on, he covers the entire AFC South. I'm talking the Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, and everywhere in between.
The most wide open division
God,
that that you can see in the NFL right now. Other divisions have certain idiocracies about them, but this AFC South, it is wide open, and I can't wait for our guests to come on and talk about it.
Oh yeah, just think about this for a second. You're talking. You have potentially one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever come out of Clemson, and Trevor Lawrence.
No. The roster that they've built around him is outstanding.
Yeah, it absolutely is outstanding. And Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback.
Not just that. You've got Houston, who has been on a kick here with a great young talent.
And a great coach, by the way. They have a really good coach too.
Yeah,
and then you also got to look at the Tennessee Titans. They got the number 1 pick. There's Cam Ward, which, by the way, folks, if you have not seen this video, and I want Mike to really comment on this too, about the video where you see Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders talking, and all Cam Ward kept saying was, "I just play football. I just play football." Great guy, guys. This gentleman coming on, his name is Mike Patton. He does have his own show. We're gonna let him tell about his show also. But guys, Mike, man, what is going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you all doing?
Good. Can you tell everybody real quickly, what is your show called, sir?
My show is called Touring the AFC South. So every single team in this division, I talk about them backwards and forwards and all the little things in between. So yeah, definitely my show is Touring the AFC South. Does all.
Oh man, I can tell you, if y'all don't know about him, go look at his top 10 picks that he's been going through here lately. They're great. If this wants to give you any insight on any AFC team, period, this man will give it to you.
Yep, he knows his football absolutely. All right, Mike. So let's start with who do you see as the number 1 ruler basically of the South this year? Which team do you see being?
Well, until they're knocked off, I would say the Houston Texans. I mean, Houston Texans did lose a lot up front this offseason, mainly trading Laramie Tunzel, trading Kenyon Green to the Eagles. So they did lose a lot up front. However, they still do have some of the best skill position guys, Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, quarterback. Defensively, they got the best cornerback in the division, let alone maybe across the league. Derek Stingley Jr. He's arguably that good. Then you have Will Anderson Jr. up front. You've got Danielle Hunter on the opposite side of him. I mean, you've got a lot of guys, and they've got the best safety group in the NFL. They've got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They've got Jalen Petrie. They've got Jimmy Ward is a backup on this team, and he's been a very good safety for a long time in the NFL, which is even crazier. And then you have you have the kid out of USC. I cannot remember his name. It's going blank. But the kid out of USC, he actually led them at safety with interceptions last year. So yeah, they have a really talented safety group to go along with all that talent they have on that team. Of course, and I didn't even mention Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb, who are their 1-2 punch in the backfield now.
What does that mean for Nick Chubb? I mean, look, obviously he had the absolute most gruesome knee injury anybody's ever seen. What does this mean for Houston? Houston's always been a great running team. They've always had, great running backs, phenomenal. but could a player of Nick Chubb's caliber, could he help propel them? Obviously last couple of years, 9-10 wins has kind of been the divvy point for Houston, but could he help propel them to an even higher record? Could he make the Houston Texans be the actual sleeper in the entire AFC?
I can't say he necessarily is going to propel them to be that guy because he's going to be splitting time with Joe Mixon. But what it does for the Houston Texans, it makes them even more dangerous when it comes to the December games, the late in the season games, because they not only have one but two physical tough backs, and now neither one of them can be worn down as the season goes on. So when they hit the playoffs, provided their offensive line definitely, gets it done, which that's a question mark as well. But provided their offensive line gets it done, that team is going to be pretty doggone tough if they get into the playoffs with those two talented veteran running backs. So those, that aspect of it could help you when it comes to the postseason, but not necessarily the regular season, of course. But they have to handle their business in the regular season to get to the postseason, of course, obviously.
I like that. Let's switch it up to the next team in the AFC South, the Indianapolis Colts. Shane, go ahead. Oh, you're muted.
Well, appreciate you coming on for sure. But kind of what we want to know is the Colts. Is AR going to be healthy for one? And kind of what is their outlook? Kind of being they are one of the younger teams in this division, as far as I guess you could say inexperience and everything else. But kind of what's your outlook on them coming into the season as well, especially with Anthony Richardson, his injury dealings, and all that?
Honestly, your first question was talking about Anthony Richardson, and honestly, I don't know what to make of Anthony Richardson at this point. I will say he's definitely injured a lot, so that's not a good thing. And he actually missed mini camp because of a shoulder injury or just some soreness in his shoulder. And it's the same shoulder that he injured a couple years ago against the Tennessee Titans when he was running the football. So that doesn't bode well. They do have Daniel Jones there, which they tried to call him Indiana Jones, and I thought that was just a discredit to Harrison Ford, in my opinion. So I'm going to say this now again. Harrison Ford, I'm sorry they called him Indiana Jones because that just doesn't make sense to me. But as far as, the quarterback position is going to be very paramount for this team, and just getting just some average to just good play from that position will do wonders for them. They do have weapons there, though. They do have Josh Downs, who is a very good slot receiver that nobody really talks about. Michael Pittman Jr., maybe he gets healthy this year and does some things. As far as the running back position, you do have the best running back in the division. Yes, I said it, the best running back in the division, that is Jonathan Taylor. He had 1,300 yards, and he had.
We just had a guest ask this question about what are you hearing about DJ Giddens and Jonathan Taylor tandem?
I'm not hearing much about that. I'm hearing it's going to be a lot of Jonathan Taylor, and if he's off the field in crunch times, I'm going to have a lot of questions for their head coach. That's really what I'm hearing right now. That's from me.
Hey, JT's the man.
Yes, he's a good one.
He carried that offense for what, 2 years now?
Well, I will tell you this. The issue I had with the team is, the Green Bay game, I don't know if any of y'all watched that Green Bay game they had last year. They were in the game. In the fourth quarter, Jonathan Taylor doesn't get a ton of catches, a ton of carries, I'm sorry. Well, I was just kind of scratching my head. And they were doing that a lot this year.
Touches period with him. It's like he came in. He was the workload back, though, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he's a workload back, but he's got the hands to be, one of those Sproles type backs. So, tell us how they mismanaged that for sure.
I will say this. He's a guy that can catch the football. They just don't really use him that way. And I will say this. Just in general, with the offense there in Indianapolis, besides like screen passes, they really don't throw the running back as much at all, which, it's kind of shocking to me. But then also, if you look at the Eagles offense, which that's where their head coach came from. They don't really throw to the running back much either, except for screen passes. So I kind of get that, but it just to me, yeah, that you could kind of expand that offense more if you really use the running back as a weapon in the passing game. But that's what they do, and that's what they hang their hat on. So that's on them, in my opinion.
I have one more question with regards to the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously,
Mhm.
For those who haven't seen the video going around of Anthony Richardson in his rap video, a lot of people are asking this question. Is he touted as one of the biggest busts the Colts have ever had?
I can't say he's touted as one of the biggest busts they've ever had. I mean, honestly, I'm not ready to put him in that category just yet. And the fact that people are talking about him in a rap video, and I'm just like, really? Did you run out of things to talk about this
They evidently
summer?
did.
I mean, because to be honest, I mean, people, this is one thing that I always try to stress to people. Athletes are human beings too. They do not just sit here and train every single day, every single minute, every single hour, every single second. They don't. That is not real life. It's just like we don't work or talk on the air or do anything 24/7, 365. We have lives, families, all those different things to do. And we like to relax sometimes too. So that's where I'm just like, man, come on, people. But as far as him, I'll say that he does have every opportunity to win that starting job this season. I mean, honestly, they said they were going to bring in competition, but they brought in Daniel Jones. All I can say is look at Daniel Jones's work and the things that he has done, and you draw your conclusion as to how much competition he really is if Anthony Richardson is focused. That's all I'll say on that one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Competition is used loosely there.
Very.
Let's switch it up. Tennessee Titans. They had the number 1 pick in the draft. I mean, that is the most coveted pick out of all picks is to get number 1. And I started up if people didn't see the video. First off, give us kind of like what you have seen though, obviously with Cam Ward. I mean, we've all seen the video, him and Shador talking back and forth, and all he kept saying is, "I play football. I play football." I mean, that's a true and Cam Ward came from nothing, and he's made something of himself. Shador has had a life of luxury because of who his dad is. But kind of give us a rundown of what you have seen, though, this entire OTA and everything offseason with the Tennessee Titans.
Well, the one thing that a lot of people are missing, I talk about the 4 H's when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. They're actually practicing it. No, not the 4-H club, not that stuff. But yeah, it's allowing them to get to know each other even more and talk to each other and learn their teammates even better. They're trying that this offseason, which I've definitely I've got videos out there with Calvin Ridley talking about it at his camp and things like that. But getting back to Cam Ward is a guy. I actually met him at his I actually was at his press conference when he was the day after he was the number 1 overall pick. He's a very quiet guy, very, very smart guy, but he also is very confident. He's not a guy that's going to tell you as much probably about his confidence, but if he does tell you, it's in a super quiet way. But he definitely is a very confident guy. He's very confident in his arm. He'll tell you he's a gunslinger. He's going to tell you that. But he is a guy that's very confident in his arm. And one thing that I've noticed just kind of looking around and hearing a lot of things is he likes to attack the middle of the field. For a young quarterback to want to attack the middle of the field, he's got to have some heart and he's got to have some belief in himself because, the vultures are always circling around the middle of the field. So, he's definitely got a lot of confidence and he's definitely got a lot of confidence in himself. He's definitely a guy that, he actually, he actually is a guy that, he comes in and to me, he isn't a leader by yelling or anything of that nature, but he is a guy that by his actions, I think will end up being one of the foremost leaders of this Titans team. And with him, I think that a lot of people don't understand just that he's just a guy that he gets it. He gets it and he understands it. I mean, give you another point on him. At University of Miami, they used to meet at Xavier Restrepo. I met him at Calvin Ridley's camp and got to talk to him a little bit. And he was talking about how Cam Ward would, they'd be meeting at like 5 o'clock going over 5 o'clock in the morning, that is, not 5 p.m. But 5 o'clock in the morning, every day, talking about different things, going over stuff, watching film and things like that. Well, Cam has kind of carried that over to being here in the Tennessee Titans, and the young guys are meeting up with him and going over film and all those different things. And like I think Brian Callahan had told him to kind of go home one day. That's that is a guy that you definitely can win with. It's just I understand what Brian Callahan was saying in terms of saying that hey, you got to find some balance in this, which I understand that part, but you do love it that you have to tell a guy to kind of back off as opposed to making him kind of rev up to what you want him to be.
Absolutely. Look, there's a question for you from our good friend John at the Pitch Good podcast. This hype for Ward feels similar to Mahomes when he came into the league. What are your thoughts?
I would say it's a little different. I mean, the hype for Mahomes wasn't exactly hype for Mahomes. People talked about his arm and all those different things, but people weren't exactly looking at Mahomes and saying he's going to be a generational quarterback when he got drafted. People looked at the talent, but they just didn't, I guess say, oh, this guy's going to be just incredible. It's like, now Cam, people were looking at him and seeing his story, and they were like, okay, I like this guy. I like this attitude. I like how he carries himself. He could be the guy. So I think in that aspect, it's a little different. I mean, the arm angles and all those different things that Cam Ward and Mahomes throw at, I can see the comparisons in that aspect, but just the hype coming in, definitely different when it came to these two.
I like that. Look, let's switch up to the last team in the South, Jacksonville. We've seen a lot of questions, more so than answers so far. Trevor Lawrence, what's the situation with Trevor Lawrence? What's the situation with the entire franchise? Even, I mean, we've heard rumblings, for like years now. Shad Khan he's gonna move the team. They're gonna go to London. They're gonna bolt to London. I mean, we've even heard officially this offseason, Roger Goodell came out and said his plan in the coming years is to have an entire division out in Europe, including with London, with Germany and the likes of that. Like it's strange that we even say that, because you remember there used to be the NFL Europa. I mean, that was
EuroLeague.
Yeah, the year that was the big thing back then. And now they're possibly bringing it back. But kind of give us a rundown, like what can we expect with Trevor Lawrence this year, even.
All right. Well, it goes to Trevor Lawrence. You can expect him to be in an offense that potentially is going to be friendly to him. If you look at Baker Mayfield in the year that he had last season, it was a career year for him, 40 touchdown passes. But look at the way they attack teams. They attack teams deep. And if you look at this Jacksonville team, they got guys that can attack teams deep. That would be Brian Thomas Jr. And yes, that would be Travis Hunter. So they also have De'Ami Brown, by the way, from the Commanders. So they do have 3 guys that can get it done running down the field. The question is the offensive line going to be able to protect them? That's a big one, because, you have Anton Harrison, the first-round pick from a couple years ago on one side, and you have Walker Little on the other, who is replacing a couple other guys, mainly Cam Robinson, who is now playing for the Houston Texans. So the question I always ask Jaguars fans is Walker going to show up little this year, or is he going to show up big? We'll see. But the thing is that's with Trevor Lawrence, that's one of the main things with him is, can he get protection to actually do the things that Liam Cohen wants to do? And does he get a support in the running game with the ETN and and Tank Bigsby among other running backs as well? That'll be interesting to watch. And as well, what'll be interesting to watch is their defense, because they're going to be kind of multiple this year. They had Josh Hines Allen, and they have Trayvon Walker on the opposite sides. Eric Armstead, really, really underwhelming year, but they were trying to play him at defensive end some last year, which was crazy to me. But they're going to be multiple defensively, and they've got out of the guy, their defensive coordinator from last year. He's not there anymore, of course. Thank God for Jaguars fans that he's not, because he was confusing, very confusing. Subbing out his best defensive linemen or pass rushers on third downs and leaving them on the sideline makes absolutely no sense. So they're very happy he's gone. But just overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars have a talented team. It's just a matter of can they focus and do the things that they need to do to actually win ball games. And last year they couldn't do that. They had the questions with Press Taylor running the plays and Doug Peterson being the head coach, and then him getting snooty with the media down there too. And so, hopefully with Liam Cohen, for them, hopefully he's able to get the focus, get them, doing the things they need to do, and actually have them striving towards winning ball games instead of the infighting and all those different things.
Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, to tell you the truth, in my opinion, I don't have completely enough confidence in Houston to take this division, and I've got the Jags selected to win this division outright. But between the moves that they've had in the offseason, between coaches and personnel and everything else like that, what do you see as far as kind of the AFC South in that division? Do you see this kind of being a kind of a battle between Houston and Jacksonville, or do you see Houston, although be it they lost a ton up front, as you well mentioned, which I'm a true believer in, it all starts in the trenches. And
It does.
and that's how you win playoff games. That's how you create a successful franchise. Do you see Jacksonville in that right mindset and all heading forward, especially with the talent that they put on the field with not only Trevor Etienne, as you mentioned, the crowded. I'm a Hokie, so Brayshawn Tuchel, man, he's a big key, like one of the only Hokies selected in this past draft, kind of deal. But man, kind of, do you see that being a competitive kind of thing, unless Cam Ward comes out, or like kind of? I guess what I'm saying is give us the kind of AFC South as a whole as you see it right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now I see that it's Houston's division until somebody else steps up and takes it from them. Houston is still the one of the more talented teams in this division. Despite their losses up front, it'll be a real testament to what this new offense does. They do have a new offensive coordinator. He is from the Los Angeles Rams. So it'll be interesting to see what little idiosyncrasies he adds to this offense to kind of make it tick and make it better. But yeah, they're the kings of this division until someone takes them out. I will say this: Jacksonville has all the tools to do so, just depending upon the run game and just their offensive line in general. If they're able to get it done, they do have, arguably to me, the most talented pass rushers. It's between them and Houston, because Houston has Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, and they have Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. So, they have the pass rushers. They do have a talented linebacker in Foya Aluakon. The secondary, that does kind of scare me a little bit for Jacksonville, but they do have talented pieces to make it happen. The big thing is can they be consistent on the field? They have not been consistent on the field the last 3 years. They've had ups and downs like a roller coaster. And if they're that way this year, they cannot win the AFC South versus the Houston Texans. The Colts, they get solid quarterback play. Defensively, they're not bad. They really aren't. They just need, of course, more pass rushing pressure off the end, maybe Letu Latu grossing that in his second season. But, yeah, they definitely the Colts actually have the pieces around their quarterback play to potentially make some things happen. It's just a matter of, are they going to get consistent quarterback play? Right now, to me, the Titans, they're still getting it together. You don't know what to expect, but I will say there is optimism, and there's a lot of good things being talked about when it comes to the young players that they brought in to this team.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, man, I've got Jacksonville being that kind of sleeper team just because of the young members, and like I said, a quarterback situation in Indy. I don't know. I don't know if it'll
It's
get figured
interesting.
out. I don't know if it'll get figured out this year or next year, but it just depends on what AR is going to do. And then in that same sense, Cam Ward for first year quarterback, but Houston losing so much up front. Like this is wide open division, and
One of the most.
Yeah, it could be. Oh, it
I'm
definitely
bet.
could be.
This is one of those like the AFC South and the NFC South. They're pretty similar. Like they're wide open and somebody step up and take it kind of deal.
Right. Right. Well,
That's
Houston's
the
done it for the
feeling.
last couple of years in Houston in an AFC South. So I will say Houston may be the team that continues to step up. However, like you mentioned, the losses of up front, the offensive line, they lost four of their 5 offensive linemen from last year that were started or not there. They cut Shaq Mason, traded Kenyon Green, traded Laramie Tunzel, and I think one other starter is going too. So yeah, they basically did. I'm sorry. They traded a guy, got rid of a guy, and then also traded Kenyon Green. So yeah, they do have 4 of their 5 starters are not there anymore, which is insane. They brought in Cam Robinson, which Jacksonville fans are loving because they used to see him not do some things that they wanted him to do at the tackle position. So that's going to be interesting. And they also keep an eye on a guy. His last name's Ursery. They drafted him in the 2nd round, I believe, out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
He is a guy that could potentially start at tackle for the Texans over Cameron Robinson potentially. It could potentially happen at if he doesn't play as well at Ursery, they could go with the young guy.
Here's a question from our audience member: is Trevor Lawrence close to being a bust?
I would say no, he's not close to being a bust, but he's just a guy that was sold to us as a generational quarterback that isn't a generational quarterback. That's what I would say. The expectations were he was going to be this great quarterback and come in here and light the world on fire, and he's not that guy. He has the potential to be a solid quarterback in the NFL, but he is not like some superstar quarterback to me. No. And also right now he's getting paid $55 million on average a year. And to me, he's not that guy. He's not the guy that's the ultimate deodorant of your team. By that I mean a guy that can cover up all the stink that's going on around your offense. He's not that guy that can do that.
And see, I see it like this is the year that it's going to come to fruition. Like, okay, they actually paid this man for doing great things. Because I think that in a small market team as Jacksonville is, as much as they don't want to be, especially small market is where they are. And, Trevor Lawrence goes to any other city, kind of deal that's kind of around there. And some moves will be made to make sense in his contract. But right now with his contract, as what you said, it's not necessarily, the money doesn't match the product on the field right now. And I do think that he has got that capability, but I do think that in a bigger market, like say if he went to the Giants, it would be a different story. Either he would be out 1 or 2 years, he wouldn't have got an extension for one. But he's a good enough talent that as we're talking about Daniel Jones going to Indianapolis, like if he's going to Indianapolis this year, like Anthony Richardson with his health issues is sitting behind Trevor Lawrence this year, not necessarily competing with Daniel Jones in a competition. You know what I mean?
Very true. I like that. I like that analogy there too.
I understand. It's just it's just to me, I'm rooting for the kid, Anthony Richardson. I want him to do well, but he just cannot stay healthy. And to me, honestly, I don't know if I want to say they kind of did him somewhat of a disservice in terms of how to kind of groom him and get him ready for that position. He kind of threw him out there, I think, before he was actually ready to be out there, and I think that wasn't necessarily the best thing. Not all quarterbacks are ready to be thrown out there in their first year and do great things. He's a case of not necessarily being ready to be out there so soon. I've talked to Warren Moon about him, so definitely we've had a couple discussions.
You talked to Warren Moon
about yeah.
You talked to Warren Moon. Oh my God. I would die a happy man if I got the chance to talk to the great Warren Moon. Like the dude is like, oh my gosh, figure out how to get that.
My favorite quarterback went to him for advice because of who he was coming into the league and all, and it's great. I read it in his biography, coming along with Tony Dungy and Mike Vick's biography that they came out with. Man, it was amazing how much Vic leaned on Warren Moon. If I can talk here, but how much he leaned on him, not much as so much as a presence as in the NFL as a player, but as a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Warren is good people, man. Warren's good people.
Yeah, he's a legend. He really is.
Indeed.
I mean, if I could pick his brain, just I don't know, man. That would be phenomenal.
I've done it a couple times.
I remember watching him play too, and I'm like, God. First off, that just shows my age. Don't even say anything, Hank. I know. Shane, I know I'm old. I know I'm old, Shane. Come on now.
I'm no spring chicken myself, so.
Well, we have this running joke. So Shane is the youngest one on the entire group of us. I'm 41. Hank is 41. Matt's about literally knocking on the door of 40. Shane is 37 years old, and we joke and say get him a diaper.
35.
Excuse me, 35. Yeah, trying to even age him already.
Okay, you're trying to make him older, right?
I know, right?
hey, the hairline does enough for me. Yeah, it does enough for me. So like, that's what I love.
Well, I'm in my 40s myself, so hey, there we go.
Hey, I go into the store. The girls they sit there, 18 years old or whatnot. They say, "Are you over 21?" I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, 827, 89. You need to see my ID other than this hairline?
That's the best right there. Can you tell I'm old? I mean, come on now. No, that's the best. Mike, I got to tell you, man, we've had a blast having you come on and really be a fixture in the first episode of the Training Days with the Sportz Nutz. It really does mean a lot to me. It means a lot to Shane, to Matt, to Hank, the whole team. We can't thank you enough. Can you quickly again let everybody know where they can find you, sir?
Well, of course, you can find Touring the AFC South on the Mike Patton network on YouTube. Just put in Touring the AFC South, and it'll lead you right there. And then also you can find me on, the artist formerly known as Twitter. You can find me there at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePaton 82. Yeah, I ain't calling it X, man. I ain't doing that.
We had a
Then of course you can find me on Instagram and Threads. You can find me there at that's THA_general_MP.
Thank you.
Sorry. I forgot to mention as well. Sorry, my bad. Forgot to mention, of course, you can find Touring the AFC South on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, I'm on there.
Absolutely. Check our guy Mike out. Check everybody out that we have had on tonight. We really do appreciate everybody who has been a signature to start the show. We will be back with you all again. Actually, our next episode of the Sportz Nutz will actually be on this Friday. Can't wait to have everybody on. We got a good stuff to talk about. Mike, enjoy your evening, sir, and go watch the NBA draft. As you see, Charlotte's on the clock right now. So you have yourself a wonderful evening, sir. Sound good?
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Oh man, that was actually a lot. That was a lot of fun to have this go on. And Shane, this. Everybody's going to get the chance to see some of this quality content right here every Wednesday with the Training Days with the Sportz Nutz. Can you kind of give everybody a quick rundown for what is going to be an episode 2 of Training Days, please?
Oh yeah, well, episode 2. If let me get my notes out. If my fingers will work correctly, which they don't seem to want to right now. Of course, you said Charlotte's on the clock, so I'm digged in now. you know, so episode 2 will be next Wednesday. Will this be the 2nd? So January or July the 2nd. Not
Well, not
January.
January.
Ooh, boy. We're
You
talking
just
about
wishing for them January temperatures. Come on now.
well, not really, because as you well know, coming up here after yesterday, as a matter of fact, it's pretty cool up here. So, but
Yeah.
but next week we're gonna have the AFC West coming on with the Baltimore Ravens and the LA Rams. We're extremely excited to have all of our guests coming on for those episodes, and looking forward to the same content. I'm not going to say better content, because I'm going to say the same content, because we strive to give you the best content out there for all 32 teams in the NFL right now. And I think we're getting that, as you've seen tonight. So look forward to next week's episode, and look forward to Friday's episode as well.
That's right. Look, Friday, which, by the way, Canupel was selected by the Charlotte Hornets, 3-point shooter based out of Duke. So good selection, absolutely,
Yes.
by the Charlotte Hornets. But guys,
his name came up a lot. Like I like it.
yep, absolutely. Guys, we have a great episode lined up for you this Friday, and we can't wait to get it going here. I'm not going to give too much details, but I can tell you this is going to knock your socks off. So for all of our guests who came on and joined us, we really do appreciate it. Shout out to all the guests who also chimed in. We really do appreciate it. We will see you dark and early officially this Friday. You guys have a wonderful evening. Shane, what do you tell the lovely people, sir?
Hey, as always, we appreciate everybody out there watching us. Thanks for the support. May the good Lord bless you, and peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease indeed. John just said, can't wait to see it. Yeah, it's going to be a fun episode. Guys, I always tell you, peace up, A-Town down wide. It's the greatest sports city that ever was. Look, pick 13 is coming up soon. Atlanta better make another big splash. John, again, with this slurping on bacon grease. But hey, let's hope Atlanta makes a splash and gets something good. Guys, you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there. I know the weather's a little dicey right now in the upstate, but you guys have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on Friday. Until then, enjoy the outro and good night.